Why not it be, you know what? I really appreciate that when we travel, you always pick the best flights. I have total trust because you always get us there on time and you pick the flights that are so comfortable, and I just love you for that. That's a great way to reframe how we talk about money. But instead, we often simply do not talk about it proactively. We only talk about it when something is a problem.
Do you think our partner should know how much money we have?
When you're married, probably a little before that as well. Like, I'll tell you what happened with my wife and me. So in my book, in chapter 9, I talk about how to talk about money and when to talk about money. And first of all, there's a lot of personal finance experts. They're like, you should talk about money on date 1. I'm like, have you guys ever been on a first date?
Can you imagine?
Who's talking about their asset allocation on the first date? I'm like, get a life. So she had asked me, like years into our relationship, some 401k question. And I was like, read this book. Learn it. It's in there. So I knew all about her money. We had talked about her finances. And then as we started getting more serious, one day she came to me and she said, I don't feel comfortable because you know everything about my finances and I don't know anything about yours. And that was a sobering moment because I realized I had violated my own rules in chapter 9 of talking about money early and proactively. It's these grooves that have been created for 40 years. She didn't feel comfortable because she felt like I knew everything and she didn't know anything about me. Being in the dark about your partner and their finances is very uncomfortable. We were planning to get married. So what does that mean? Does he not? Does he have this much money or not? Does he expect me to pay the exact same amount for this apartment because I don't know if I can afford that? What does it mean for children? What does it mean for our elderly parents? All that stuff. This is what money means. Money is not just an amount in a spreadsheet. It's where do we live? Security. Who do we get to be? And, security is a really good, that word haunts me because I realized to my horror that I had not shared about my finances. So we had a series of conversations. And as we got engaged, we had more. We started talking about money a lot. And I mentioned to my now wife, I said, it's really important for me that by virtue of me running a business for so long, I've accumulated this business, these assets, and I love you, but it's important for me that we talk about a prenup. And I was very, very scared. I had talked to a lot of friends, and I'm sharing this because prenups are another thing that always happen in the dark. And I don't want that. I want people to shine a light and to understand how these conversations happen because nobody talks about this. I'm going to talk about it. So I was nervous. And all the advice online is awful. It's like, have the conversation.